Okay, we have now dug our trenches on both sides, and I've started putting the gravel in on this side. As you can see, what we did is we put a line up over there and we tied it to the cinder block here. Tried to drive a post in the ground. We actually hit the foundation wall underneath there about a couple more inches. It's okay. And then we took popped a line and got us an even mark here. So I'm going to fill up this gravel up to the point to where the pavers will all be, or the cinder blocks will all be even going across there. And then I don't need to do another line because I've already got the first one established. So anyway, that's where we're at on the project. So we're going to keep on going. So we've got a little bit further along. We've installed the entire row of cinder blocks here. These cinder blocks have 3 holes in them on the bottom side, and some of them have 3 holes in the top. Anyway, I put the smaller hole on top so less stuff would get down in them. That was the idea there. We'll see how that works. So it's pretty level. There at the end it kind of starts to droop off, and it's got a little wave to it, but it's okay. And then what we did is I used that gravel to level it first, and then I went brick, 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 kind of like that. And then as you can see here, what we're doing is I used some construction adhesive to kind of tie them together instead of mortar. I don't really want to put them together that well, mainly because I don't know how long this flower bed's going to be here. Something I may want to consider before we put the dirt up against it is kind of letting some rock trickle down in between the wall and the brick there, so when dirt starts to push up against it, it doesn't want to collapse that way. We'll see how that works. Something I'm going to have to think about. I'm running out of rock, but that's no big deal. But you can see over here we got our tar paper, and then the shower liner type stuff, the shower pan liner. And I put the tar paper in there first, and then that. So the idea is to give it a barrier. You don't want that plastic completely up against that. Then again, I may have defeated my purpose because I used some construction adhesive there too to kind of hold the tar paper in place, and I don't know. We'll see how that works. But that's where we're at right now. Turns out over here we're gonna have to dig down some more, so digging's not done yet. So anyway, that's where our progress is at. Later. Okay, we are getting pretty close to being done for today. I'm gonna show you here. It's kind of hard to see, but what we did is we went in and put this pan liner from the shower along the edge here. Okay, and then it turns and goes along that one. What we did is the contact adhesive didn't stick to the concrete very well. So what we did is I used masking tape along the top, as you can see, to hold it in place. Then I kind of smeared it on there, and we'll see if that works. Hopefully it does. I'm going to put some dirt up against it, and then you can see here it's just the felt and the PVC pan liner stuff. Sorry about the color. It's hard to see because it's it's night. Been at it all day. Maybe I'll get a better picture of it tomorrow. I kind of wanted to show you the step in between the finished product, which is here, which if you look, it's hard to see, but maybe a little closer you can actually see it, kind of how it's built up there, and it's holding that wall up and whatnot. So anyway, always important to have a cold one at the end of the day. Anyway, so that's kind of the progress we've made today. It's pretty good, but long ways to go. Eventually we're going to have to put in right now I'm digging a trench for a drain line, I'm just using that dirt over into to fill the trench up against that stuff. So do that, and eventually we're going to run a line down here, as I talked about earlier, and it's going to kind of elbow over. There's going to be a little catch basin here. I decided to go with a square catch basin. We'll go into that later. I got a mess going on right there, but anyway, that is the progress up to this point. And I did end up trickling rock in behind the stone just to kind of help fortify it when I put the dirt on top. Okay, later. Okay, it's the next day. We managed to get all the dirt filled in up to a certain point. That way that pan liner doesn't come away from the wall there. I've been putting rock in behind it so I can kind of pack the dirt up against it. And if I pack it and there's nothing behind it, that wall wants to shift a little bit. So just kind of trickling in dirt behind there to help stabilize that wall. And the reason I'm using rock is because it'll allow it to breathe still. That's the whole purpose of the cinder blocks and the rock, is to let the house breathe, the foundation breathe is the idea. That's a big problem typically with putting dirt right up against the house. Creates moisture problems, creates things like that. So we don't want to cause that. So we're using cinder block and the rock. So you can see how it packed it up there on both sides. I got a little trench. I started my trench here, and then I kind of started one here, and it just got, there's roots and whatnot in the way. Anyway, those are going to be my 2 irrigation lines most likely. Running it in that pipe over there, and then here's a better view of this side of this wall being done. You know, I wanted to pack it all the way up to the top there. It didn't work out like that. I don't know, I may cut some of that top edge off. We'll have to see. We may leave it. It depends on if it becomes floppy or not. But anyway, and then we kind of got a rough outline of our next row of timbers. We're going to take this part here and extend it out just a little further. The wife decided to come out and be a foreman. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. And then there's going to be a drainage pipe running through here about, yay, and then it'll Y off and go out that way. Right now this little ditch and then a little ditch out there are going to provide drainage if it rains a lot. Alright, later.